something bad to us, we are going to do things to you that have never been done before.
Howdy, beautiful people. How are you? Hope you've had a, reasonably good sort of a Wednesday today. It is Wednesday, isn't it? I haven't got my days all screwed up. I think it is. Tomorrow being, Thursday, I should be in the right part of town. Tomorrow, I've got a bit of a busy day on tomorrow, getting out of bed early, doing wild, outrageous things, and then carrying on through most of the day. So a show tomorrow night might be a little bit iffy. I'm not sure, A, whether or not I actually get much chance to sit down and catch up with much information, and B, with what I'm doing tomorrow, I'm helping a friend eradicate a small infestation of something, and we'll just have to wait and see how that goes. So that'll be the plan for tomorrow night, but we'll see how we go. Just want to say hello to a few people first up before we get into all things this fine evening. Chris from Cooktown, nice to have you in, mate. And Paul Revere, you were, basically dead heating in there tonight. Tim, nice to have you back in too. Sunflower. Now, hope you're doing all right. I know your hubby's not well at the moment, so I hope things are going okay there, or at least, you're able to manage it as best as possible. So thoughts are with you, darling, and can only hope for some improvement for both you and the family, I am sure. Hello, Veronique. Hello, Scotty. G'day, Dave. Paul Orchard, I did see you in there last night. I meant to say hello and I forgot to. G'day, Chaos. Nice to see everybody in. Speaking of Chaos, I hadn't actually intended to have Darren Bergwerf on the phone today, but the phone rang and it was the Chaos theme, so here he is. Well, he was. He leans out of the picture. He comes back in. All right, mate, I know you're busy tonight. You've got a lot on happening at my place in Frankston this evening, but you rang me this afternoon. You said that you'd received something, and it was pretty important that we started talking about it. So I'm all ears.
Aye, Captain Chaos. We're busy downstairs tonight and tomorrow night. We've got events happening. But I just, something come across to me today that I got my hands onto that I hadn't seen previously, and I was just wondering how many other people around the country. I just spoke to 10 people downstairs that are just getting ready for the meeting and the presentation, and half a dozen of them already knew about this and had this document in their hands. So it is. I'm not even sure. There's no name on it. Doesn't say where it's come from or anything at this stage. And I don't think it's got anything to do with the national strike that was being organised. I think this is a standalone thing. But it's basically someone is organising a total lockdown of the country, from what I can gather, basically demanding that we the people of Australia demand effective immediately for the following people to stand down as they are dismissed now. All government officials, Hurley, Elbow, Premiers Australia-wide, all police Australia-wide, uniform, plainclothes and undercover, all mayors, councils and shires, all security companies, the whole lot. It's making a statement basically in this letter. All these people above have no power over us, and we, the people, will be taking our country back now, and you are all dismissed effective immediately. We have over 200,000 truckies in Australia, and we have the truckies along with all our farmers with their tractors, also mums and dads with caravans and motorbikes from all walks of life, will close this country down. So it's a pretty massive kind of announcement. Like I said, there's no name to it, but it is effective. And what they're saying actually goes on to say, and look, when I look at this and where we've been and how we've been, tiptoeing around the fact that our innocent people in this country, men, women, and children, are being genocided. I said this on a live the other morning, walking down the beach. As far as I'm concerned, all you GovCorp scums you've gave up any kind of authoritarian or any kind of rule when you instigated the unlawful lockdowns and the forced vaccinations with a bioweapon, in my opinion, against the people. And I'm surprised, to be honest, that it's taken this long for this kind of more drastic action to come to the fore. But they're basically saying that Australia has over 20,000 children each year go missing, and these children, boys and girls ages from 2 to 3 years old, are raped 8 to 10 or 12 times a day, horrifically killed for their blood, so the Masonic male and female can keep their anti-wrinkles beauty. So it's pretty graphic. We have ex-police officers and ADF, Australian Defence Force, standing with us now. And it's a spiritual war between God and Satan. So this is a whole new level in this. Well, it is a war that we're in, and I don't think anyone that's awake can deny that. It's a war on humanity. We've been talking that for the last couple of years. But this action is going to be taking place on Monday, the 15th of April at 10 a.m. And they're quoting whoever this has come from, that we'll lock this country of ours down and will remain locked down until we meet all of those listed above at Canberra House on Monday, the 7th of May at 10 a.m. So we will remain in position around Australia until we have taken our country back and these people are in custody. Please wait for further updates. Yours sincerely, kind regards, your lawman. And that's kind of about it. But there's 3 pages, and by the sound of it, it's already kind of going viral and being spread because I only found out about this afternoon, and half a dozen people down the back have already are aware of it. So this is fucking huge, mate.
There's people in the chat that are already saying they're aware of it. They've seen that email at some point today. So it is big, and there seems to be a lot of support in the chat for it. People are a little bit worried in certain stances, but if the people can't stand up, if we can't support something like this action, we got people to Canberra once and did nothing. You don't have to go to Canberra by the sound of it to be part of this. They're talking about just pulling up wherever you happen to be and, blocking the roads, which will be very effective.
To me, it probably goes hand in glove with what John's talking about as well. I think we need, all the workers, whether they're affected or not, walking off the job and saying, that's it, tools down. I know Rick and others have been, saying, when we say, enough's enough and we withdraw consent, then it's over kind of thing. And he's been sprouting that for the last 2 years. And I think, this could be it. This could actually be the straw that breaks the Masonic camel's back.
It could certainly put a lot of pressure on it. We've been calling on the Governor-General now for 2 years on a daily basis to do his job. And when I say we, of course, I'm referring to the Canberra Standers, who have sat there rain, hail, or friggin' snow. And it is Canberra, remember, and been there every day. There's been someone there. In fact, they could probably do with a bit of support there at the moment. I had a message from Phil the other day saying that they could do with a little bit of support down there at the moment. So if you happen to be on the road and needing a bit of a home for a day or 3, why don't you pop down and see the Canberra Standers in Canberra? Great bunch of guys, and it's really something to behold. But Hurley has always said, not always, the only time he's ever been cornered and asked the question about why he wouldn't act, he said the people haven't made their feelings known, or they all seem to be quite happy to acquiesce to what they're being told. Is this going to make a difference? We call for his replacement, dismissal, or he's got to dismiss the government, and then we've got to get rid of him.
He has no authority to dismiss the government. I mean, anyone that's done any research knows that he's not a Governor-General's arsehole, and he's just a figurative head. So once again, and like I said at the Farmers, I wouldn't call it a rally, like the staged event they had in Canberra back in early February. with all the mainstream media lined up and all the politicians getting a platform to speak. We don't go like peasants on our hands and knees begging for the criminals to change their ways, and it's never going to work. And we've been going down that path for the last 3 years. It's got us nowhere. So to me, this kind of action is what's always been needed now. Whether they've been waiting until there was enough angst or enough carnage in the community to get the support behind it, I don't know. But to me, this is exactly what needs to happen to bring this to a head. Otherwise, we're just going to kind of sleepwalk through another year of more people dying, more kids being damaged, stolen, trafficked, raped, murdered, whatever the hell's going on. And as a moral society, anyone that doesn't step up to the plate and make a significant difference here right now, I'm sorry, but you don't deserve anything, and it's time to put in or piss off.
You've just come through a fairly punishing 3-week national, federal political campaign. In that time, we talked about it the other night about the motivational aspects that you brought to the campaign, trying to enlighten more people. That'd be a great thing to bring to the road in this sort of situation as well. However, commitment is what's going to be required if something like this is going to be undertaken. And that will be significantly a lot of commitment from the people at the front of the line, at the front of the blockades, the first trucks, buses, caravans, whatever, to stop will be fairly significantly confronted, I would think, because it won't take too long if you do it in the right spot that the traffic line up behind you will negate the emergency services actually getting to you from the direction of travel. So they'll come at you from the other way. So commitment is going to be required. Now, yep, they might take one truck, they might take one car and a caravan, the bus or whatever. They can't take everything. And the farmers, if they're smart, won't be taking out any useful implements that they have on their farms. They'd be taking out all that old rusting shit that's sitting in the paddocks and is rather unidentifiable. Wouldn't it be amazing if we had a few old scarifiers turn up in the middle of the Hume Highway and, some nice flashing lights and signs warning everybody that it's time to pull up now? It's all possible, but it takes commitment. How long, in the chat, how long would you be prepared to get out of your house, get your sleeping bag, get your tent, take your car or your biggest vehicle, if you've got a caravan or something you can sleep in, even better? How long would you be prepared to go out and sleep on the side of the road to make this happen? I'd be really keen to see your responses, just as a little bit of a straw poll in the chat right now. Please make a comment. And if you're watching this not live, please make a comment afterwards, because very keen to see the level of commitment that Australians have to this. Everybody says, oh, bloody great idea, I want to get behind this. And I do say, bloody great idea, I want to get behind this. But how long are you going to stay with it? Will you just come out for the day? Will you have a barbecue with the boys and then go home? And that's okay if that's all you can do. Bring the barbecue, bring the food, all that sort of stuff. But if you're going to be on the road and if you're going to want this change, you're going to need to make a commitment that's longer than a day. It might be longer than 2 or 3 days. It might be longer than 2 or 3 weeks. Are you able to commit? Will you commit? Can you do a bit of a rotational thing? If there are commitments that you and your other half have to meet in that time frame, can you do a bit of a tag team? I mean, are there ways of doing this where we can keep it going? Because it's only through commitment and a desire to really change what's going on here that this could even potentially make any dent, don't you think?
Oh, definitely. And look, I think if this is spreading as quick as it obviously is, if people don't get on board now, then you deserve what's fucking coming. And you have absolutely no heart. This is it's a protest, from what I can gather. It's not violence. It's saying we're done. We've had enough, and we're not going to take it anymore. And if people can't commit to something like this, then fuck off. You're not worth fucking even talking to. You really got no heart, and you don't deserve to get your country back. That's where we're at now. I mean, if they really have a look at what's what's actually happening to our kids, what's happening to us, how many people are dying, and what they've got a pea heart, and they're not willing to, when someone actually comes up with something that's significant, they're not willing to join it. I tell you what, this is going to show people out, and they're going to show up, whether they're fucking yellow or whether they're a patriot and have an Anzac spirit, and that's something that we need to get back. I mean, people gave up their life as 15 and 16-year-olds, lied about their age to protect our freedoms. And if you can't, jump in your car and jump on the freeway and get stuck in a traffic jam for a few weeks, when these people spent 6 weeks on a leaky boat to get fucking shot and killed before they even got to the beach, you are absolutely piss weak.
Peter Grace, marvelous man, a marvelous man. He comes up with some of the weirdest things he finds to buy and flip and sell and do all those sort of great things. He's found an Oshkosh airport fire truck, scrap price, still has the water cannon on it. I reckon we should start a fundraiser. That might be.
All we need is to find an outlet somewhere that actually has water in it, because all the so-called water that we've been drinking and poisoned with over the last 50 years ain't water. Anyone paying a water bill, that's false advertising. It's got poison in it, and we're starting to call these bastards out as well now, and go along.
And it's happening around the world.
Yep,
happening around the world now. Donovan wants to know, what would be the difference this time compared to last time if we were able to, get people on the road? Can I respond initially by saying it's the location. You don't have to travel half a country away to go to Canberra to freeze your ass off, to be ignored by politicians who just get off on the fact that you're there to protest. It gives them some legitimacy. No, you can protest by walking into your main street and parking your car or your truck.
Well, this is going to affect 4 million in every city up the East Coast by the sound of it. Not nobody pretty much in a tiny Sleepy Hollow like Canberra. There's no media, no press, having absolute no effect on anything in 2022 in Canberra. So this is 100% different to what happened in Canberra.
Yeah, 100% different, I would agree. And the fact that even now in the chat, so many people have said the fact that it could be local and it could be where you live. That's simple. If you live on a main arterial road or a freeway or something that's coming past you, and Darren, you're old enough to remember the truckie blockade of the late 70s, early 80s. From memory, they stopped the Hume at the border, Yarrawonga.
Mm-hmm.
Not Yarrawonga. Well, they stopped it at Yarrawonga as well. Every crossing out of Victoria was blocked.
Yeah, Albury, Wodonga.
Yep, and then down in Gippsland, where you cross over there, it was blocked. And then South Australia, there were also blockages within Victoria on the main arterial highways that stopped delivery trucks and everything else that was going through. If you were a car, you were fine. You could get around. But the trucks weren't allowed to go through anywhere. They were stopped, and if you were being a scab, odds are you didn't have too much of a truck left next time you went in and had a piddle somewhere and came back out. This would be trucks and cars and caravans and buses and bikes and tents and God knows whatever else combined, and can be set up anywhere on any main road, I'm assuming.
Well, it sounds like I don't know, just reading between the lines that, there could well be on all the exit freeways out of major cities, 5 or 10 Ks out of the city, that would happen there. That would bank all the way back through, and it would just gridlock the whole CBD, and it would affect millions.
Yep.
And
Melbourne had a taste of it in the last couple of days, didn't they? Melbourne had a taste of it in the last couple of days with Extinction Rebellion.
Yeah, I heard that. The climate alarmists or whatever climate crisis people took over the Westgate Bridge. a couple of days ago. I haven't seen any footage. I don't watch any mainstream media, so I don't even know if it was on there. Yeah, look, I think more and more people are getting to the end of their tether. Between now and 5 weeks, with the amount of evidence and stuff that's come out, I seen a report today that in England, I'm not sure how long the time period was, but 94% of all deaths in England over a certain period of time, whether it be last 6 months or 12 months, have been in the vaccinated. 94% of deaths, people have been vaccinated. Now, that doesn't mean that all of those people have died from the vaccination, but we do know there's a correlation between turbo cancers, blood clots, strokes, young 19-year-old fit young men dying in their sleep with no self-harm. We've known this for a couple of years that this was happening, and it's playing out more now. And if people are going to just pussyfoot around and not want to take drastic action when the time comes to step up, well, I don't know. Like I said, you're a coward.
Yeah. Commitment, short-term pain for long-term gain, and let's replace gain with abundance, shall we? It seems to be a word that everybody likes. So, but it takes commitment. And yes, it will be uncomfortable sleeping out in the car for a day, a few days, a week, a month. It might be, but make yourself as comfortable as possible. Maybe you can come for a portion of the time and somebody else can come and, change sleeping bags with you halfway through, if that's the way it's got to be. It has to be a tag team kind of thing. I understand people can't stay there forever, but there are more of us than there are of them.
Well, they won't have a choice, mate. They won't have a choice. They'll be blocked
in. How are
in.
you going to get your car out once you're in? Yeah.
You're there. Look, I don't know what these people that are trying to get this happening, whether they're organised with, two-wheeled crews kind of being able to cruise up and down the emergency lanes or whatever to bring supplies or water or whatever else. I'm assuming people will be very kind of creative as to how they can help and get things to people if need be. So, yeah, anyway, like time will tell. But I think it's a significant, a massive step. And the fact that so many people in the few hours that I've had it, I don't know, maybe it was out yesterday, maybe it was out this morning, but I only come across it this afternoon. And for so many people to be already aware of it, in however long it's been out, shows you that in 5 weeks' time, there won't be too many people in the country that aren't aware of it.
Sunflower has raised an interesting point. Pack your portaloo. If you were an enterprising individual who happened to have a tow bar, it might pay you to go to Kennards and hire a portaloo for a month or so, and hold your hat out, because there'll be a lot of people requiring the facility. You might be able to get $5 a time or something, or $2 a time to donate to the cause. I'm not saying you should be out there profiteering off these people. That's exactly the wrong thing to be doing. But just imagine, a few portaloos, one every kilometre or half a K along through the big stoppages, be very useful. Be very useful.
Well,
indeed.
if you don't eat, you don't shit. So you probably wouldn't need it. You'd only need it once, maybe. But
I don't know, mate. A lot of people got caravans and campers.
Yep.
They got camping gear, all happy to eat on the side of the road. And
I
can see people happily camping for maybe up to a month.
Yep.
Without
well,
really
I
needing
don't know what it's going to look like, how it's going to play out. I just thought, it'd be interesting to know with your viewers how many already know about it. Like I said, the crowd down there, and I only spoke to about 15 of them. They were still piling in when I come back up here, but half a dozen people knew about it. Anyway, we'll see what happens.
All right. I better let you go back downstairs.
Yeah, no problem. And just a shout out to Camillo and the crew from Stand in the Park and My Place groups up on the Sunshine Coast. I think they got 5 of them. I think they have 3 My Place and 2 Stand in the Park candidates running in the Sunshine Coast or whatever that Fraser Coast council election. which is
Doing a
ridiculous. They're
great job.
pre-polling for a week for a council election as well. But big shout out to those guys. They sound like they've got it pretty organised, and good luck to them. And once again, they'll be waking up a lot of people in their communities as to what's going on. There he is, the main
I haven't
man.
I haven't got a picture of the others, but I've got his lovely mush.
Yeah, I spoke to Craig from my place, Gympie, today, because we got a request from Gympie Times to Darren Dunkley to answer some questions about what's going on. So, the Sunshine Coast, they're smashing it up. They're doing really good. And no doubt there'll be a few Queensland people wanting to, maybe step up for the state election whenever that is later in the year. We had a discussion about that as well. Yeah, and making sure they strategise correctly, and don't try and do too many seats. Just pick the ones that have got the least support for Labor and Liberal. Do your research, and the ones that have the lowest vote, primary vote for Liberal and Labor. They're the seats you want to try and get, because you've probably got a big base to work with, and they should be campaigning as of next week and working out which seats they want to attack. Whether it be 6 or 10 of them.
What's the most important thing that we should be looking for in this process? I know we need candidates, but is it having faith in that having enough candidates can make the change or can make the difference, going to get us over the line, or we need more people stepping up?
Well, I think we've got to be it's not just a matter of running someone for the sake of running, and you've got no team behind you, and you're just wasting your time and resources. That's what I'm saying. I think they should be laser focused and maybe pick 10 seats across Queensland. Work out which seats are the best chance of. You've got a base there that already anti-Liberal, anti-Labor. That have the lowest turnout for Liberal and Labor, and get someone solid in that seat, and then start getting the information into letterboxes now. Explain, do you know about the Wood Royal Commission? Do you know that the Labor and Liberal Party have a 99-year suppression order to cover up the fact that there are pedophiles within the federal government? There's pedophiles within the top of our court system, our top of our police. And start educating people with the stuff, not the political shit about, we need more schools or we need more hospitals or whatever. Give them wake these people up with the truth.
Yep, but you also need to present that you are a credible alternative to the incumbent. Okay, and that doesn't mean that you've got to have your little propeller hat, spinning full revs on every door that you knock on. You have to be a reasonably credible alternative to everything else that's on offer, and being stuck out on the far edge of a limb isn't going to help you do that. So it's all but we have those views in the movement, but we need to attract as many people as possible to be the attractive option for people who feel disenfranchised from the current system and can't vote and won't vote for anybody. We need those people to believe. But
the candidate doesn't have to be out on a limb saying that stuff, right? But the people that are supporting him or her, it's a matter of educating the people about what the system is. Not about trying to win votes over the next 6 or 8 months. You're not going out there with political advertising. You're going out there with an awareness campaign to ask people, are you aware what you're supporting? Are you aware of this? Are you aware of that? And you start to educate these people of just what this the filth of Australian politics and everything else in this country is. And once they have enough of that information, that will turn into votes, and it might be about all kinds of various things, not just about that issue. Our education system, like we got Craig Cole coming tomorrow night. With our Leave Our Kids Alone, I'll put flyers out all around Bayside and Rowville, Rosebud, Cranbourne, all around Frankston. So he's going to be presenting once a month now, and it is about waking up grandparents and parents of what's going on in the education system. These are the things that will tug at people's heartstrings. The forest of the fallen. I mean, those kind of things. When you get stories of truth, and the video I watched of that lady, and I don't know what I think it was New South Wales, but she was under a marquee and she spoke for 8 minutes about what was happening. I mean, they're the kind of stories and the truth that we need to get out to people, because when people start to actually listen and look at these heartfelt stories and the pain that comes with those stories, like Glenn, and I keep forgetting his surname, that wrote that book. This is the stuff that needs to go out there. The public need to be aware of this, the truth, and that truth's going to be ugly. So, warts and all. And it's not necessarily about getting the votes. It's about getting a message to get people to start to transition and understand what the hell's going on in this country. Yep.
All right, mate, you go downstairs, look after your guests down there. Thanks for coming on and bringing this bit of news to us. We'll obviously both track it with a great deal of interest, and we'll see what comes out of it, where the support comes. If you're prepared to get behind it, maybe you might want to email, let us know. That'd be useful. Get hold of Darren or email me, carl@vofhq.com, and tell us that you're going to be involved, what state you're in, where you're going to do it. Maybe don't give us too many plans via email. Just acknowledge that you might want to be involved. That might be the easiest way to kick it all off without getting everybody in too much trouble. All right, mate. Thanks very much for.
It's not about getting in trouble anymore. Fuck trouble. Seriously.
Yeah,
we're not going to get our country back worrying about getting in trouble. Seriously. It's time, guys. It really is.
Now, I can't let you go without knowing whether or not the pre-polling stuff was counting up today. Do you have any further numbers on how you've gone?
No, I haven't even looked at it, mate. I've kind of moved on to a point. We'll wait till it's fully finalised. But apparently someone downstairs before was saying they were watching the ABC whenever it was last night, and they had up Labor, Liberal, Greens, then they had a gap, and then they had the Libertarian Party, 0.2%, and they just wiped me, ghosted me altogether. They wouldn't even put my name up on the screen. So that's how hilarious and how obvious it is that these people are 100% filth.
Last time I looked, which was late last night, you were at about 4.77%, I think, from memory. So still above 4, and it seemed to be climbing. So fingers crossed that's the way it keeps going for you, mate.
Yeah, no worries, mate. Thanks, Carl, and have a good show, and we'll catch up soon.
Okay, cheers, mate. Thank you. Darren Bergwerf in Melbourne. My place, of course, got an event there tonight, and as he mentioned, Craig Cole there tomorrow night. Pardon me, if you'd like to learn a lot more about what's happening to our children, then that's an event you want to get along to. Craig is well-versed in all of that in a very big way. All right, interesting things happening in Maricopa County today. Well, the Board of Supervisors just ran out of a public meeting when they were served the following. Now, they were given notice that none of them had ever signed an oath to the Republic of Arizona. Instead, you'd signed an oath of office to a foreign corporation, which means this is an act of insurrection. You do not have the proper bond carrying surety for your actions to we the people. Due to all the voter fraud, you've never been formally voted in. Acting as if you have any authority over the people is a direct act of treason. Due to all the voter fraud, you have never formally been voted in. Oh, sorry, I'm getting back to that. Today, we, the body sovereign, are presenting you each a notice of liability and opportunity to cure. The fine is $1.75 million per claim, and there are 12 signatures, which means that you are each personally liable for $21 million. If you do not resign in 3 days, you will be presented with a writ quo warranto. Quo warranto, is that how you say it? And a waiver of tort. If you do not rebut these truths and you remain in office, we will be notifying the military, and your act of treason will be grounds for an immediate military tribunal. I don't need to tell you the penalties for treason. We, the body sovereign, hereby command you to resign within 3 days or else face the consequences. I'm also here today to hand you this jump drive, which contains a 5,000-page document notifying you of all the dangers of the COVID vaccine and the poison in the water, to name a few. Now, this goes on for quite some time. There are a couple of interesting little pages to it. But at the end, it basically says, therefore, I command you to send a public broadcast to every resident in Maricopa County notifying of these dangers within the next 3 days, or you'll be in direct violation and derelict of your supposed duty, making you even more accountable for your actions. Notice to agent is notice to principal. I'm sure we're all aware of that. A lot of the Americans are getting very excited about that and the wording of the noticing today. In fact, I saw somebody, I think it was on Nino's chat, who was getting extremely excited about the noticing process. And in fact, it might have been her. Extremely excited about it. And I'm really pleased to finally see the Americans understanding, or at least starting to understand, common law. Some of them, not many of them, some of them. Fitz and I, a couple of years ago, were on Chuck Orcelli's show on the US, and we were invited on ostensibly just to be a couple of interesting accents on his program, I think, initially that night. And we wound up talking to them about the US Constitution, because Americans have some very, very profound feelings about their Constitution. Between Fitz and I think we tore them all apart and gave them enough reason to delve deeper into what is behind the US Constitution. And we were talking Magna Carta 1215, of course. There was a lot of resistance in America to that, this whole line of thought. Well, I'm pleased to see that it seems to have changed. And as apparently was the way, they all got up and ran out of the room that they were presented in, and they'll go away, have a bit of a conversation, and then in a week's time, they'll all come back and they'll all vote, 7, 10, 12, whatever it is, to nothing, to do exactly what's been said there. Whether or not they actually resign publicly remains to be seen. Trump won. Did you hear about that? So today was Super Tuesday, or yesterday was Super Tuesday in the US. 16 states, millions and millions of voters go to the polls. And Super Tuesday is renowned for, well, if you win Super Tuesday, you're pretty much guaranteed to take out the Republican nomination in July at the RNC. 16 states. Trump won 15 of them. Nikki Haley, his only Republican opposition left in the battle to be the nominee for the presidential run later this year, won Vermont. I think she has 66. Yes, I think I saw today that she has 66 votes, electoral votes in this process so far. Trump has a little over 900. He needs 1,215, I think it is, to win the nomination. But nobody doubts that he's going to get the nomination at all, least of all Donald Trump. I want you to have a look at him today. He made a speech at Mar-a-Lago when it was clear that he'd basically clean swept Super Tuesday. But I'm not going to show you the speech. I want you to watch this and see what you pick up on. What did you notice? I'll give you a minute to have a bit of a think about it. It was pretty obvious, so I'm guessing that most of you have probably picked it up. See the amount of security around him. 17 close personal detail. I counted 17. That's a security operation. Why such a large security operation inside Mar-a-Lago, where you've got to think he would be reasonably well protected on any given day? Well, the level of security I think we're going to see surrounding Donald Trump over the next months is going to be beyond anything we've seen for anybody, president or otherwise, maybe shy of the odd rock star, in history. They now have a real problem on their hands. The Supreme Court of the United States of America ruled yesterday, or day before Monday, I think the ruling came out, that Colorado or any state was unable to block someone running for president. It would be against the Constitution for that to be allowed to happen. So the Supreme Court ruled against the states, ruled for Donald Trump. So he will be on every ballot in every state. The Supreme Court has made sure of that. After today, 15 of 16 seats collected, and all those electoral votes going towards the RNC in July, it's clear Trump will be the RNC nominee for president to run for the November 5 election against, at this stage, what they're saying is Biden. It's not going to be Biden. We're all pretty sure about that. There is a couple of places or a couple of voices suggesting a number of alternatives, but really there are only two potential credible alternatives that could run. One would be Hillary, and she's not really credible. The other would be Michael Obama, and she's not really credible either. I also feel that in the current political climate, the Democrats may not want to sacrifice Michael or Michelle Obama straight away, unless they feel there is no other way forward. But to lose with Michelle or Michael Obama as the nominee would be pretty devastating for the Democrats for life. For life. I think, I honestly don't think we're going to get to an American election in November somehow. There is some suggestion being put out at the moment that this round of primary elections is in fact going to be used as the actual election. I don't know how that could possibly be in any way constitutional. I only sort of started reading about it late this afternoon, and I will go and do a little bit more discovery on it. There might be a way through the American Constitution this could happen, but I honestly don't believe that it's possible at this stage. I think it's more a fantasy than anything else. Speaking of fantasies, we all know Israel hammered Lebanon for years. Bombings on almost a daily basis. Lebanon has been a peaceful city now for many, many years, a beautiful city until it blew up a few years back. You might recall one of the largest explosions at a dock ever. Killed thousands of people and left many more thousands homeless. Well, look, Lebanon apparently are now involved in what is being called a rocket attack on Israel. Have a look at it. Notice anything funny about that? Well, to begin with, the rockets weren't making the ground. The other weird thing about it was they all seemed to be blowing up at about the same point, almost like they were hitting a barrier. Okay, the Iron Dome that Israel employ isn't really an Iron Dome. It's not a force field. It's just a string of missiles they use to shoot down things and guns. None of those were employed against this. So that looks like a rather interesting firework. However, sort of it's got me interested the way that it all sort of dies or blows up at the same place in the sky. Have another look at it and, tell me if you think that I'm being a bit silly here and over trying to. Daniel, I'm with you. I thought fireworks too. But if you look at what we're going to call the rockets, and you have a look at their thrust trails, that to me is more indicative of a firework trail, if you like, than it is a rocket trail. However, you can hear what certainly sounds like rocket engines in the background. As for it being fireworks, well, look, I'm no firework aficionado. Pete, are you still in the chat? Because believe it or not, old, Four Finger Pete from Pinaroo, he might know a bit about fireworks, just between you, me, and the gatepost. So I don't know, Pete, do you reckon that's a firework, some kind of mortar that's been fired horizontally rather than vertically? I'm not sure that the dynamics of the whatever's come out of the mortar fits with either a mortar, particularly the trajectory. If it was a mortar, it would be a parabolic arc, because the mortars are only powered by the push out of the barrel. Rockets are powered by something else that's stuck in their tail. They do not work in a smooth parabolic arc, and you can certainly see by those streams they're using, or that they leave, that they are being propelled at certainly some velocity. But then they all seem to stop in the same place. I don't know. It's got me. Yep, Brett. Interesting. That's what I thought. Interesting. Looks like we've lost Pete. He might have been one to spread a bit of life on that. How long have we been going? Okay, so I've got a little bit left to tell you about. America at the moment have just started pushing the new jabs for their citizenry. They've put a beautiful face on it, and she smiles lovely, and she makes it sound all very reasonable. Rest assured, folks, this is coming to us here in Australia right now. The same thing is happening. If you have elderly people who have said to you that they're not going to get any more jabs for COVID, well, you better tell them to get ready not to get any more jabs, full stop.
We need to see everyone get an updated flu shot and an updated COVID vaccine. We also shared on Friday that we expect and anticipate there's going to be an updated COVID vaccine coming this fall, right? So plan now, right? It's March, so you can think ahead. When you're going to get your flu shot in the fall, you're going to get another updated COVID vaccine. And the reason for it is because this virus continues to change. That's okay. We can stay one step ahead of it. We have the tools to do it. We just need to use them. So FDA, CDC has started that process just like we do with the flu shot. We've started that process to update the COVID vaccine already for this fall. And so we just want folks to, again, already start thinking about that.
Really nice smile. Won't look that way with a bit of hemp wrapped under a chin, but really nice smile. The takeaway from that for me is that they're going to combine the shot. All right. She says it very quickly, and as a throwaway line. And doesn't say we're going to combine the shots. She mentions the COVID vaccine and then the new flu jab. The flu jab is where they're hiding it. It'll be buried in that. And the flu jab itself is an mRNA generated jab. It's nothing like you've had in previous years, certainly not pre-2020 anyway. So flu jabs, steer clear of them. I'm preaching to the converted here. You're like me. You'd have to be unconscious or in severe pain before you willingly accepted anything from any of these bastards. I know that, but I don't know. It's not flash the way that these people carry on. I see somebody says death threats are a bit much, mate. Really? But it's all right for them to kill us. People have had enough. I said it quieter this time because I didn't want to scare you. People have had enough. We are waking up. Some more than others, some with wider eyes than others, some with greater to lesser degrees of belief in certain aspects, but all with a degree in a high degree of belief that this has to end. It has to end. Now, maybe what Darren was talking about tonight with what's come out in that thing that's being passed around, maybe that's the beginning of this. But it'll take commitment. It'll take not only commitment from you and I, it'll take commitment from the people who aren't as committed to all of this as you and I might be. We need to bring them on this journey. Otherwise, they're just going to get angry at us because we're stopping them from doing the things they want to do. This needs to be an action that brings the entire country to a halt, not a couple of little desperate groups parked up alongside highways over the country for 1 or 2 days until we all figure out it's not really working. This requires commitment. It doesn't require you to commit to driving thousands of kilometres to go to a shithole in Canberra, namely Canberra, and hang there, wave flags, walk around, get treated like crap by the politicians and the locals. No, it doesn't require you to do any of that. It requires you to stand up in your own community, outside your own front gate, maybe. You don't have to go far. Give it some thought, because I'm really keen to hear what the people think about this idea going forward. Because it is only with the people's support and their commitment that we'll be able to pull this off in any way, shape or form. And I can tell you that I think there would be a secondary benefit if we can pull this off. And let's say we could pull it off for a month. That's a whole month with no dickheads on the road.
You let one ant stand up to us, then they all might stand up. Those puny little ants outnumber us 100 to 1. And if they ever figure that out, there goes our way of life. It's not about food. It's about keeping those ants in line. That's why we're going back. Does anybody else want to stay? Let's ride!